disturb you guys at all? Like, does this make you feel weird in any way? Like, you just kind of look at it and you feel something and a glitch in the Matrix has occurred? By the way, those sons of bitches in Hollywood are making a new Matrix reboot. They are literally rebooting the Matrix. Now, I am a hardcore Matrix person. In fact, this isn't why I fell in love with my wife, but my wife has the rabbit, the shoulder rabbit. She has that tattoo, and when she showed that to me, I was like, oh my god, yes. Now, she's no nerd. She knows nothing about video games, but tonight she made me feel complete once again, as I was harassing her. Yes, my shuttle harass in the living room is amazing. So I was definitely giving her a bunch of sass, and then she goes, "That's it. I'm going to bed. GLHF." She's using so many game acronyms all the time, and I love it. The fact that she said GLHF to me just cracked me up. All right, let's go to game number 4. Reap the storm. Sweetums. All right, let's go back to scene 13. I've got the score updated 2-1. Nothing is in either person's favor. Remember, Trutacz can still come back. This is a best of 9 for those of you who are coming in. Best of 9. Those of you who missed the announcement, this Thursday we will be watching a replay of Flash versus Sulky, the replay from the Africa Team Battle Finals. So if you missed that game or want to learn how Sulky absolutely was able to defeat Flash in the latest stages of a Terran versus Zerg game possible, then watch that game with me on Thursday, and we will dive into Sulky's mind and try to understand how the hell he came out on top. Oh, someone's stream died. Reboot the stream. Reboot the stream, guys! Alright, refresh your page if you have stream issues. On top of that, I want to say hello to everybody who's watching from Twitch and from Africa TV, because I know that there are some viewers over there. Remember, week 10 to week 15 will be exclusively on Africa TV / ASL2 ENG2. Bonyth, the winner of the last game, is up 2-1. He is spawned at the top right. And now we are seeing at the 6 o'clock position, we have Trutacz spawned at the 6 o'clock. That was redundant, wasn't it? Meanwhile, this is a 3-player map. If you guys aren't familiar, I like to show this real blip, blip, blip. Okay, those are your spots. You've figured out the map. I'm sure you've memorized it. And this is a map that hasn't gotten too much play. I think Bonyth overall has been able to avoid Reap the Storm purely because he wins his best of 9s in 5 games almost every time. In fact, winning a game off Bonyth is like winning a game off Koga in a TVZ. Super rare. Koga dominated TVZ. I was wondering how he would match up against someone like Trutacz. Meanwhile, the pro has already made it. Bonyth has gotten the lucky scout every game. Let's just be honest, this is unreal. Meanwhile, you see that there's a spawning pool before hatchery? Again, an early pool. So, you can see that the second Overlord is here to confirm Overpool. The Overpool build is actually pretty good against Protoss. On a 3-player map too, if he knows where he's going, these early Zerglings can be pretty effective. Once he decides to build Zerglings, there's three larvae there. Okay. A slight delay, but the Zerglings will be on the way. Meanwhile, saving up for a hatchery. He's got 300 minerals. The hatchery is going to get laid down. And this is going to be a scary timing. Trutacz, can he hit it before Bonyth is able to defend? Bonyth makes a huge mistake here. He actually sends out his zealot, but he hasn't read the situation. He spent so much time trying to harass that drone and prevent the natural base from coming up that he hasn't prepared himself well to defend against these Zerglings. So while the probe is out here, it's seen that the Zerglings are sprinting across the map. There's no good wall quite yet. Another zealot has been made. So 2 zealots at the front. Remember, it took Bonyth 3 zealots, and just barely 3 zealots, to be able to hold off Zerglings. Where are the probes to clog up these holes? It looks like an undefendable position here. So the forge being built at the front is going to allow the Zerglings to get some pretty good surface area. And in fact, they run through the hole on the left. This sucks for Bonyth because I'm pretty sure he doesn't understand how the wall is supposed to be organized on Reap the Storm. And so he really is just in a bad position as 4 Zerglings make it inside. And these 4 Zerglings can be completely treacherous. Down to 13 probes already. I believe 2 probes have been killed. There's a hatchery coming down, so Trutacz is going to micro his heart out with these Zerglings and expand very quickly and try and take as many drones as he can. He's going to try and make tons of them behind this. But he's got 6 Zerglings too. I saw a couple Zerglings at home. These 2 Zerglings can still cause some madness, and if done well, another probe could get picked off. Yes, it does. It does. Down to 12 probes. 11 now. 11 probes. The Nexus only just now finishing up. And this has got to be quite taxing on Bonyth, who is not able to mine as efficiently as he would like. So 3 Zealots are going to come out, and this is actually a good timing because Bonyth should have realized that Trutacz takes a faster third than most consistently out on the map. So this third being plopped down over here to the right is going to be a wide open position. There's going to be no units to defend, but, well, at the third, I'm being specific. There's no units to defend at the third if he sends the Zealots over here. But 13 Zerglings, if these 13 Zerglings kill off the Zealots immediately, then Bonyth may end up losing this game. Bonyth won't have much to defend with at home. He doesn't have a good spot for the Zealots to wall up and deal with these Zerglings. And here he goes. He's going to try and maybe battle against this wall here. But ultimately, they are taking a really long trek home. He does confirm the base over here, the hatchery being built, the 3rd hatchery. And so this is really good for him. This is good scouting information, probably given away by the fact that the creep spread had made its way out. Meanwhile, no gas at this base. And 3 guys on the gas over here, so at least the gas mining is back to optimal for Bonyth. He doesn't have many gateways. He's going to have a very little army, and I think that there is a strong timing that can come out from Trutacz here to take the game. Is this all units? Is it all units, guys? Yeah, more Zerglings coming out. Speed's about to finish up, and Bonyth, I do not think, will win this game. Trutacz is just in way too strong of a position. Yeah. Trutacz, he's trying to max over. He's hit over 300 APM now at this point, or 300 APM, as he tries to engage here. A lot of Zerglings swarming down. These Zealots have to be microed back, but the problem is, as soon as they get microed back, they open up holes, and more Zerglings run inside the main base. We'll have to keep an eye on here. 4 Zerglings inside. A lot of probes are going to go down. 22 probes remain. Remember, the double Nexus production has been pretty good, but it hasn't been good enough to deal with the amount of losses that these Zerglings are causing. Somehow he defended here at the natural base. I mean, Bonyth trades like no one else. Even when he's in a super bad position, he somehow makes really good trades and comes out in a reasonable position. So 23 probes, and somehow those Zerglings just did not do the damage we would have expected. Now with speed, a couple more probes should have gone down. Oh, he's trying to hunt it. He does. He hunts it down. Oh, this is awesome micro for Trutacz. Meanwhile, he's droning pretty heavily at that 3rd base. At the front here, we can see the Evo chamber. This is a 6-hatch Hydra transition. And this is good because we'll know when he's ready to transition into making Hydras as soon as we see that additional geyser be taken. Extractor on the way soon enough, I'm sure. So the Spore has to come because Hydras are going to be later. Hydralisks being built are going to be much later in this whole entire mix. Meanwhile, he did confirm that the Corsairs have been built. There is a single Corsair that's coming out to go and head for the Scout. But most importantly, it might be able to pick off an Overlord. These are Zerglings. There's a Straggler. If Bonyth can see this, he might pick off this Overlord right away. What's more important, killing off the Overlord? Killing off the Overlord, it is! Some players like to scout first and then go back for the Stragglers, but he's going to get this Overlord with a single Corsair, and that's always a fun kill. Meanwhile, this Overlord has been microed to the back, and it's going to be hilarious to see how long that Overlord does somehow manage to survive. Templar Archives follow-up, remember, it's going to be important to get Storm, especially with the 6-hatch Hydra play. It's going to be so tough. The timing will be coming out in just 2 minutes from now. Trutacz could be just pounding on the wall of his opponent. But it looks like he's still falling a little bit behind on getting the Hydralisk production in here. Do you even see the Hydralisk dead? Where is it being built? A sunken colony here? This is all Zerglings. Where's the tech for Trutacz? He's working his way towards the lair. So if he's gonna go Lair and then Spire Mutas, then he will need to have 3 gas really to get the proper amount of Mutas and the proper amount of gas to be able to pull this off. I don't know how Trutacz will do it. I don't know how Trutacz can take this game with being so late on tech. Oh, but you know, these players at this level, they somehow impress us. There's such a different thought process than anything that we can comprehend. There is a DT that is going to be on the way. 5 Zealots heading down towards this base toward the bottom right. And finally, the Hydralisk Den has been completed. Where's that second gas? Remember here I said once this gas is taken, we'll start seeing units being produced? Well, that's what's happened. The gas it's going to lead to this Hydralisk play, and it's just 40 drones. That's quite a bit of drones, and at least the economy for Trutacz is going to be very, very strong across these 3 base locations. These Zealots are getting defended pretty quickly, and the Hydralisk follow-up here will be able to kill off the rest of the Zealots, any of them that may happen to survive. But no! Speedlings for the win. Alright, so we can confirm that the speed upgrade, leg enhancements is going to be finished up very shortly. Are we missing a DT? Are we missing a DT? Guys, this is very important. We don't want to lose track of it. There's just 1 Dark Templar. I wonder if the earlier Dark Templar got killed off, or if this is the same one. I'm pretty sure, didn't we just see it pop out? Or was it just standing next to that gateway? Regardless, this is an important DT. If this Overlord could get killed off, then the DT could do some significant damage. 6 Corsairs are going to be coming in for the hunt, and they're going to be making their way towards the base of Trutacz. So importantly that DT gets pulled back. Meanwhile, these Corsairs are not going to be hunting at the 3rd base. They're going to try and engage on top of the natural, which has a Spore and several Hydralisks. So not a place where they can really do heavy damage. Remember I talked about that Spire? That Spire is going to come up, but it is going to be just purely for Scourge. There is this extra extractor, so I mean there's this opportunity that we see. I hear it. Because you hear the blades and you're like, where is that son of a bitch? Alright. So only 1 kill on that DT. Meanwhile, the food supply looks like it's still intact, sitting at 110. What does Trutacz have at home? He is mining like pretty heavily. He's got more probes than he should on these 2 bases, which means that he should be thinking about taking a 3rd. You can't take the 3rd as a Protoss player here. It's not a good position. Taking this 3rd is too close to Zerg, so that's not a good position. The 3rd has to happen at this 12. There's no other base that Protoss can take very effectively. So Bonyth, he really doesn't have a lot to defend a 3rd base, and now he's going to have to deal with the 6-hatch Hydro Pressure that is just going to be an astronomical numbers. But these storms from Bonyth can kill it all. If the Hydralisks don't get microed well, then these storms will completely shut down this play and actually give opportunity for Bonyth to take an expansion. Yeah, this one Hydralisk trying to get at least a probe kill. So many hits to kill off the probe, but it does go down. And you can see that 47 drones have been completed. An additional base might be taken over here, so a 4th base, but 14 Hydralisks. And you need way more Hydralisks than that to be able to bust down the Protoss at this stage of the game, especially since Bonyth has quite a few High Templar that have really queued up quite a bit of energy. Range Dragoon transition is going to be on the way shortly after this, and once 12 Dragoons are out, then we will see Bonyth start to be aggressive while he takes the 3rd base behind it. So it looks like he's just going to wait until he gets that proper amount of Dragoons before he does try and take any sort of territory on this map. This queue of units here, really the drone needs to go ahead and start making this base, and so now we're going to see confirmed that Trutacz makes it. The pylon getting shut down here, and I think this is a bad expansion for Bonyth. Did Bonyth forget that there's no gas over here? He has to take that. So this confirms it. The speed for the Overlords has been completed, but his range, or I'm sorry, his carrying going to be completed for the Overlords too. Will they increase their carrying capacity so that way units can be dropped inside of the main base? There's a lot of probes here that can get killed off from these lurkers. So this is that massive units that we're going to see here. The Dragoon count is only 5. This is a forward aggressive expansion coming out from Bonyth. And Bonyth is kind of taking this base thinking, well, he's going to attack and constantly attack his opponent. This is like the Terran mentality. Remember, Terran will expand towards their opponent because they can defend it. Bonyth, though, Bonyth is going to have a hard time defending a base that only will be providing minerals. So it's going to be very questionable. But storms are going to be laid out down here. These Corsairs aren't going to be doing much towards the back. Meanwhile, this is a good, solid storm defense. Bonyth has been able to secure this location. The Nexus is nearing half health, and at half health, it can be pretty hard to take down the Nexus unless you have a substantial amount of Zerg units. Still, this is a bad spot also because lurkers with high ground vision can hit the probes. Why would you ever death sentence yourself by taking this base when lurkers and hydralists can hit all of your workers? There's so much you have to defend. From the right side, where that third 3 o'clock base has been taken, Trutacz can attack it from that flank, or he can attack from the bottom, from the left. I mean, there are so many opportunities for Bonyth to be damaged on this base. So if somehow he manages to take this base, it would be quite surprising. Here's an important thing about this map too, that I haven't heard as a complaint on this map in particular, but this tile set, is that lurkers can be really hard to see on this tile set. So I know that certain players have complained about the fact that you can't see lurkers when they're bird in here, which is to a huge disadvantage to players. Alright, so lurker's going to try and defend on this high ground. Trutacz, where is your army? Not much army here for Trutacz. And just tons of economy. He's got 46 drones, and in fact, you know, after taking a 4th base, he may have been able to get above 50. But right now, there's no time to just spare that larva for drones, as he really needs to have a great-sized army. I'm surprised that we haven't seen Spire turn into Mutaplay, but instead, the Hive has been completed. And because the Hive has been completed, this is really going to help Trutacz transition into late game and deal with these units. Dark Swarm plus Zerglings can be so useful against these Dragoons. Remember what I was talking about, this low ground being a constant bit of harassment? These cannons, though, the cannons actually have high ground range, which makes them very, very effective against these lurkers on the low ground. Something I did not anticipate is how effective those lurkers would be at defending. Meanwhile, we haven't missed anything yet. Still 46 drones for Trutacz, and he's got 144 supply. So it looks like the Corsairs haven't done too much damage in terms of killing off Overlords. This is a huge army that's going to be pressuring the third. But this is where Trutacz can win. Trutacz has to really bait out as many storms as possible. He has to dwindle it down as quickly as he can, and then re-macro fast. He has to re-macro so fast, pinch this army in, and get it caught so it can't retreat. It's all about these Zerglings coming in here right now. Zerglings can die very, very quickly to these storms. But if they can outlast the storms, if they can outlast a high Templar energy, then the Zerglings should be able to kill off Bonyth's army. Off these 3 bases, a 4th base coming up here at the north. And these Zerglings do a nice arcing pattern from Trutacz to engage the High Templar on the top, and then also pick off a few of the Dragoons. So the army has been cut down. 113 supply in total to 77 supply. So 113 supply is not bad. These probes combined here, I think this cannon, the cannon's worth it. This cannon may have made a longer path for this probe, but it's totally worth it for the extended range and defensive capabilities. But there's no additional gas. This gas, actually, it's doing fine here, but a 3rd gas for Protoss would be really nice at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, Trutacz has had a 3rd gas for quite a long time, and which is huge for him. Bonyth is aggressively expanding again. This guy has balls of steel, such brass. As he continues to expand towards his opponent, it just chokes and pressures the Zerg player into really bad positions. I'm sure Trutacz is very unhappy of having to give up that 3rd. And now the fact that it's been taken is even worse. 4th base is coming up down here at the bottom left. Trutacz, or 5th base, Trutacz really trying to propel his economy so he can manage the late game scenario. Look at this. So another bit of attacking from the high ground. Trutacz is trying to arc around and get these Zerglings in a good spot where they could do a lot of damage. Has the Zergling upgrade have been finished? I'm imagining that the crackling upgrade has finished, but next time they start attacking his out, we'll just have to listen for the do-do. Man, the Zergling pitter-patter is quite harassing to your ears and your eyes as you watch him just break it down. So these High Templar are not getting any kills yet. We can see, though, that there's a Dark Templar. We can see that there's a High Templar and a Reaver inside of this shuttle. This is what could break the game for Bonyth. Same as game number 1. We're not going to miss it this time. Remember, I'm so much sharper after I finish casting a couple replays. Helps me out quite a bit. So we can see the first High Templar Storm that comes in here. It kills off a lot of drones, setting that count down to 43. The shuttle's getting chased. The Reaver's got to drop. The Reaver's got to drop. And does it. The Reaver does drop. Okay, so the shuttle does get picked off. A couple scares should be able to clean up these Zerglings. Oh my god, the massacre. And the Reaver does end up dying. Really good play from Trutacz. He shut that down. He's only down to 41 from 47. And that is minimal losses from what could have been way worse. Great play. Meanwhile, let's look at the upgrades. Consume on the way just now for Trutacz. An upgrade that you know he's been needing. And again, like this, the gateway at the front, really just kind of setting himself up as a wall on top of a nice little macro facility at that base. But the gateways are queued up. He's really maxed out on these gateways. A couple more could really help him out. Maybe in this open area too. What are these units over here doing for Trutacz? He's trying to find a new path of aggression with his Zerglings, constantly streaming far up the left to keep the harassment hidden. He really wants to have these guerrilla-style attacks against the Protoss army. What's inside here? Oh, we got a Reaver. The Reaver needs to get picked up. A nice shot off against the Scarab first. So the Scarab managed to carve that Zergling unit and that unit arsenal in half. And now he's just going to be back on the aggressive. Where's the Scourge? Does Trutacz have any Scourge to deal with this? You can see as I click on the Zerglings Scourge, there are 2 Scourge that are out. Okay, actually they're right here, and they're going to chase the shuttle. The shuttle has to be microed perfectly. Is there Corsairs? Yes, there's 3 Corsairs that could save this shuttle if it was able to make it. Oh my god! Oh my god! From 53 drones! Oh, he just gets a bunch of Zerglings. That's it. That is it. Meanwhile, a storm goes down to 50, so it looks like a 3 drone kill. Meanwhile, a lot of army has been amassed for Bonyth, and he is finding a next opportunity to try and take down this base down at the bottom right. There are several defilers here, and Trutacz is making a fight for the ages. This is a stance like none other. Have you seen the movie 300? Well, you haven't seen this. And Trutacz is really trying to hold on here as a larger, stronger army does engage. The Defiler defensive capabilities are huge and will shut down the Dragoon attacks, and the Zerglings are going to pile in from the back. Trutacz has done a good job of continuing to stick with upgrades here, and I'm sure that +2 on the Zerglings will finish up very shortly. But right now, he's just sitting at +1. Well, Lurkers on the ground with a +2 range. Those spine attacks are going to do quite a bit of damage. Looking at these Dragoons, the Dragoons are going to be fodder for the Mutas, and this is a Guardian transition too. I have seen this before for Trutacz. This is actually quite common from him. Having a nice defensive Guardian can be huge in a ZVP type game, and so this single Guardian is starting to bust out 20 damage at a time. Dragoons really want to get in and pick off this Guardian if they can. Oh, they start to focus it down. They do, but what is left for Bonyth? He doesn't have much that's left. The Corsairs actually did not engage. Bonyth may have forgotten that he has 3 Corsairs. Everything has been blocked back, and Trutacz has put himself in a good position to try and take this game into his own hands. 53 drones, so he's been able to catch up on that worker supply. He's been mining pretty heavily from many of his bases, and so quite a few drones are going to be needed to transfer over towards that 5th base to really help even out the mining across the map. What a game for Trutacz. He's really buckled down and dealt with a lot that has been coming from Bonyth. But Bonyth, he's not done yet. He's going to be sending 2 DTs by ground as he has given up on shuttle play. Trutacz with his Scourge control has been absolutely perfect. You can see that he has 3 Scourge still that are sitting around. Where are those Scourge? I'm wondering where specifically he will try and position them. Meanwhile, oh, there was a shuttle. The shuttle is out here. Oh, what a sneaky unit. It's getting chased away with the High Templar, but still no harassment was completed because there's 54 drones that still remain. But this DT is going to try and do it a little bit quicker. 3 kills right away. Oh, 5 kills on this DT. It's in such a snug position as his Overlord tries to make it over, and we see that the count. Oh my god, it's like drones just don't die because Trutacz immediately just re-macros with drones and tries to keep that worker count as high as possible. Alright, so there are double Dark Swords coming up here. Trutacz is working itself from the low ground to the high ground. He's got several Zerglings up inside of here. But this DT, this one single DT has actually gotten a lot of kills. Oh, the double Overlords get picked off. Those Corsairs playing themselves useful, defending like Scourge do to Protoss. We're seeing here. The Lurkers are making it up on the high ground, though. This is a bad position for Bonyth. If Bonyth doesn't defend here, then he's losing a very key base for the late game. Sitting only on 2 bases, this is his most important base here. The Archons do try to engage, but Trutacz has an unlimited economy at this point, as he has expanded over towards the left side. Let's see, even the drones are coming in for the battle. Even the drones say they don't care, they want to win. Look at all these Guardians! The Guardians, oh, it's a sweet tears of Zealots as they can't jump into the air to kill them off, but there are Corsairs here. The Corsairs can start to carve away at these Guardians. 150 health to the slow damage of the Corsairs. A storm coming down, though the storm will make quick work of the Guardians, and they will pop right away. Almost makes you wish that Micro and Mutos were here instead. But remember, the Guardians do apply some weird pressure and can confuse the Protoss player in the late game as to whether they need to commit more into dealing with anti-air. This single Archon dies with 14 kills. What a happy Archon indeed. 7 kills for the Lurker here, 9 in tandem with the duo that is sitting at the south of the ramp. And Protoss is in some trouble. Where is the Remac, or where is the next army? And so as I say that, we look here, we find several High Templar, a Reaver that's with this army too, but a late 4th base is being taken, well, I guess it's 5th. A late 5th base is being taken at the 12 o'clock position. So much Zerg has been rallied up here, and I think that Trutacz is in a perfect position to take out the 12. Here come the Zerglings gathering down at the bottom. This is a moment of truth here for Bonyth. Can he hold? Can he keep this priceless base alive? There are many Zealots down at the bottom, but remember, there were Guardians, there were Lurkers, and there were Mutas. So much can be here to defend, or to attack for Trutacz if he wants to. The Lurker's not getting in the low ground. Oh my god! How is Bonyth defending here? Bonyth somehow stays alive. Meanwhile, storms to keep the High Templar alive out on the map. This base does not go down. The Lurker gets picked off, and Bonyth is about to take himself into a very strong stage. If he can establish this base and mine from it with full capacity, then suddenly Protoss is in such a stellar position, it can be almost too hard for Zerg to win despite them having more bases. Trutacz has taken the 8 o'clock position. Remember this, he's got all access to tech. In fact, he's working on the additional armor, the plating for the Ultralists in the late game. So late game Ultras, Guardians we've seen so much so far in this single game. As we reach the 26-minute marker too, an hour and a half into the cast, and things are going swimmingly in this best of 9. If this is what we can expect for the rest of the games, I mean, this is going to just be overwhelmingly amazing. Who's going to tire out first? I think this is going to be a war of attrition in this particular best of 9. After game interviews would almost be necessary. So we can see that a High Templar has been queued in here with 3 Zealots as the shuttle attempts to make some drop play work again. I've loved that there have been a consistent amount of Lurkers out on the map, and it's caused a lot of frustration for Bonyth, who has to burn a lot of storms to deal with it. Oh my god, he doesn't even get out the High Templar. So a single Zealot here, and the Zealot gets swarmed in on like super quickly. So this has been denied. Trutacz is just a boss and denying all the harassment play that you would expect any other player, any lesser player to die to very quickly. Here comes the shuttle without High Templar. Oh, now it adds it in. So a triple Zealot, High Templar, Scourge. There are 9 Scourge that exist, so 2 are at this base. And as soon as this comes, as soon as this heads towards the south, it will die. Oh, he sees it. So the Scourge, will Trutacz react? Will Trutacz react? So he doesn't send a Scourge, but he has drawn his drones away. In fact, there's not a lot of drones at any of these bases, so it's really funny. The Scourge are chasing, though! Oh, the Scourge are chasing, and he just barely misses the shuttle. The shuttle is going to bounce its way away. He's trying to get away with as much as he can, but eventually he wound up losing it. A single Zealot, 2 Zealots do manage to drop out during this entire time. Zerglings get pulled back to deal with it. Bonyth is probably just questioning himself, how does he close this game out? Because the Zerg macro capabilities is really where Trutacz is favored. Let's assume both players have strong economy. And then if that's the case, if both players have strong economy, then Trutacz can re-macro so many units so quickly that it would be very, very tough. I like that storm coming from the back. The more Scourge are getting chased down. I wonder if Bonyth is wondering how many Scourges were actually built. Because this is just frustrating. Every time, 17 Scourge now have been built. I wonder if he's calculating, that's a lot of gas and a lot of units that have been spent specifically to defend against the drop harassment that Bonyth is going for. Meanwhile, Bonyth is actually working towards a 200-200 army. He's almost to 3-3. Let's see if we can find that forge. Remember, there was a forge up here towards the back. So 3-3 will be done in just 2 minutes time from now. And this base has been ultimately defended. Very good because it has all these cannons and the DT down at the bottom. Trutacz knows that he has to eliminate the 5th base of Bonyth. If he can eliminate this 5th base, then he can cause an economical GG. It's really important though. Remember, the mineral patches are getting quite low. So if he can eliminate just a single base, that's what it all comes down to. Of course though, Bonyth is just with such a huge army. If this turns into a base race, who will win? Will Bonyth be able to win out? I would love to see Trutacz focus down observers with his Scourge and Overlords. That would be, in my opinion, the most important thing, is to bring these Overlords over and to use Scourge sniping to really try and pick off as many observers as he can to make Lurkers last in this base trade scenario. So the Reaver does get picked off, but there's still a bit to defend here. And this Archon is doing a lot of damage before it goes down, and several cannons here. Meanwhile, let's look at the positioning for Bonyth. Bonyth is positioning himself over at the mining bases towards the left side. So he's going to try and poke at this 8 o'clock position. The 8 o'clock position is one of the few bases that doesn't have a very good Sim City and can easily go down. But here comes the pincer attack. A lot of Ultralists are going to be coming out here. He's got +5 now on his Ultralists, and that is a massive amount of armor to try and go up against this late game Protoss army. Still, the Ultralists didn't do a lot of damage because there's not a lot of Zerglings that came in with this attack. They are going to be filtering in very, very slowly. So while a lot of units were lost trying to take this northern base, it's so close to being taken out. Really, the shields have been taken out, but the DTs are going to defend over here. So this 8 o'clock base has been eliminated. The base race continues as Bonyth pushes forward with his army, trying to eliminate every single unit possible in this one final base down here. If he can take down the 7 o'clock base and then work his way over towards the 9, he's going to take this game. Trutacz knows how important it is for him to hold this single position. Oh, the Ultralisk not engaging until just late. I don't like to see a single Ultralisk engage unless it has supporting units, whether it be Defiler or Zergling. What an exhausting game we have casted today, guys. Whew! This Ultralisk, trying to be a hero, does go down. The hatchery has been eliminated. Trutacz, will he be able to win this game? Meanwhile, Zealots have been sent in towards the right side too. So very important note, they've ignored this base, they've managed to get it inside the main, and Trutacz is just being taxed everywhere. There's DTs out here. The DT can't be seen until this Overlord makes it over. Meanwhile, these Archons, so how many Archon kills? 48! 48 kills on the single Archon! Wow! That's got to be some sort of record here. A 48 kill Archon. What a beast. Please add him to the Hall of Fame. He is continuing to grow to 50.